Cowboy Sports. Coming to you live from Frisco. Got an interesting talk today, man. Sitting at the Frisco training camp, getting ready to start the practice. Yeah, getting ready to start practice, man. But I wanted to get into something that's I said I was gonna get into this already, and it's a guy that I want to make sure that we don't forget about. It's easy to forget the good guys, super easy to forget the good guys, but I'm not gonna let us forget the good guys, because Dallas is an environment where the good guys do finish last. It is what it is. We all understand that. Just what it is. So there's no final word tonight, because obviously we out here at Frisco, you know, the mothership, where all the practices will be going down. I see y'all coming in the building. Appreciate all y'all. Yeah, and my boss said, yo, boss, we should release Rico and get Gore Jr. I think Rico should be the last person we get rid of. Real talk. I think he should be the last person. But I'm definitely open to any ideas like that. So, just kind of getting right into it, man. Obviously, we go stop the malarkey. So, man, it's your boy Boss Cowboy Sports, man, sitting in Frisco. We sitting in the Ivory Tower. This is where everything goes down in Dallas. This is the motherland. This is where the action happens behind the scenes in terms of preparation. And so Law, he's already here. And, you know, he's eating right now. So obviously we will be doing something. And we will be definitely doing some shows later. Star also is going to be coming as well. So Star already let me know she's on the way. So y'all gonna likely see something like this again, maybe a little bit later on after practice. So this is the pre-practice, but this is also something that I've been wanting to talk about. So before I kind of get into it, first of all, I want to make sure my sound is okay. Y'all put a 1 in the chat if the sound is okay. The sound okay? Can y'all hear me okay? Music not too loud. I first want to make sure that the room is cozy before I start talking. Put a 1 if everything is copacetic. My boy D Shift with the 1. I sound okay? I sound good? I sound good? My boy Steve say live feed suits you. Man, I know, man. I'm better live, huh, brother? I don't like pre-record. It's like I like to get on in there. I like to get on in there. All right. So I'm getting nothing but 1, so that means that I'm sounding good. Everybody say I'm sounding good. I'm looking good. My boy Hen in the building. What's up, Hen dog? Always good to hear from you, Hen. You're doing a good job on Twitter, man. I can tell you one thing about my boy Hen. Hen all day he's a guy that's gonna verify. You gotta speak slow. You better be careful when you're around Hen, because if you slip, he ain't gonna catch you. Real talk. But I want to get into obviously what everybody, you know, is discussing. Everybody has been discussing, and rightfully so, CeeDee Lamb. And we get it. You know, we get it, man. CeeDee Lamb is a big deal. You know, very big topic on hand, you know, is CeeDee Lamb and his contract. But the one thing I want to say that's pretty obvious, man, just kind of getting into what I want to talk about today, is the fact that in Dallas, it's pretty obvious that the bad guys come first. The bad guys do come first. And for an analogy's sake, I will say that CeeDee Lamb was a bad guy. He was. He was a bad guy because he had to be, right? And y'all know, anybody that been following this channel for any amount of time know that I really try to keep up with the patterns. Like, I'm very big on patterns. And I think I have a gift of really noticing patterns more than usual. So when you look at the history of the Dallas Cowboys, it's a clear pattern that the good guys tend to come first. and I say this all the time, but it's true. Where y'all remember when it was in its previous fights of contracts and contract wars. Remember, Tank was up, Amari was up, Zeke was up, Dak was up, right? Lyle Collins ended up getting in line, and guess who else ended up getting in line? Jalen Smith. But if you look at the order of the guys who came first, the guys who came first was the people who raised the most hell. Or it's two ways to come first in Dallas. It's two ways to become first in Dallas. The first way is to cheat yourself. If you give in and you give an extremely team-friendly deal, you will come first. See, Diggs, a lot of people like look at the fact and say, yeah, he signed his deal, and it didn't seem like it was much of a headache. That's because his deal was extremely team-friendly. But if you're the type of person that's going to fight for your worth, you're going to have a fight on your hands. And that's exactly what our history shows. So most of us knew, like, Tank was going to come first. Why? Because Tank used his shoulder as leverage against the Cowboys. He said, I'm not having my surgery until y'all give me a contract. Now, in common sense around that time, who was more important? Was Dak more important than Tank? Easily. He the quarterback. It's not saying that Tank is not a dog and wasn't a top dog then, but in terms of position of value, it's always the quarterback. Easily. Who was more valuable then on that team? Well, obviously Zeke as well. Zeke was so valuable at that time. There was a lot of people that really believed that Zeke was more valuable than Dak, which was always crazy. It was always crazy, you know. But the two people that had the clear value did not come first. They didn't. They didn't come first. So the guy that used his shoulder as leverage, he came first. Yeah. So that's exactly what happened. And that's why most of us knew. We knew, and like all of us knew without a shadow of a doubt. We knew. We said, you know what? CeeDee Lamb is gonna get done first. We all knew it. We all said it. We all said that CeeDee Lamb was gonna get done first. Not the guy that's actually was in practice. Not the guy kissing the babies. Not the guy doing everything right. Not the guy who saying all the right things all the time, doing all the right things all the time. Of course not, he wasn't gonna come first. He wasn't, and it's not gonna come first for one main reason, because he's fighting for his work. And when you fighting for your actual work and what's really fair to yourself and your generational legacy, you're not coming first. Period. It's not happening. So, and all of us knew it. All of us knew it. We knew that Dak Prescott was going to be last. But worst of all, Dak is last, and I'm going to stress this part again. He's last again. And so if you think about it, this is the second time in his history with this franchise that he took a back seat to his teammates and let them come first. The first time he did it, it was even worse. The first time Dak did this, hold on real quick, y'all. One of my phones ringing. The first time he did this, $600,000. That's what his salary was worth on a fourth round deal. And so getting paid $600,000. $600,000. Dak Prescott decided to be last. And that's like real life amazing that Dak Prescott went last. So looking at all the people that came before him, it was crazy, man. So the people that came out before Dak, you had Tank that went before Dak, Amara that went before Dak, Lyle Collins that went before Dak, Jalen Smith went before Dak. All these people went before Dak. Every one of them. And the guy, again, that was, kissing all the babies, going to practice, doing everything right, not holding out. See, because it was a narrative at some point. This is the narrative that people used to say. The narrative that people used to say, they used to say, well, quarterback is a different position. I like this. He said, should we take a look at Justin Ross, the Chiefs wide receiver? They just released him. See, that's the thing about this time right now. And, I think the Cowboys should be open for anything. But at this point, when you go get somebody like a Justin Ross, I want to take this because it's a super chat. When you go get somebody like a Justin Ross, you got to remember that person didn't work at all with the Dallas Cowboys and their install nor their process. So a lot of times the Cowboys or any team is not going to be interested in adding even new pieces, even if it's a potentially better piece, because that piece is going to have to get acclimated to the new offense. And sometimes you're bringing in people to compete against people that you've already got a lot of work with, that you got a lot of film on, that you got a lot of coaching with. So the only way that any player probably should be brought into the Dallas Cowboys based on these cuts is if they are a significant upgrade based on what we have, and it's obvious. If they coming in the battle, no. That's my answer to that. Now, if they coming in the battle, my answer would be no. But going back to what I was saying on Dak, and why I don't want us to forget about him, because I think we go likely forget about him. I think a lot of people are content with the fact that Dak is always here. I think we content with that. I think because Dak is always here, we sitting back and we like, okay, well, let's start the season. But see, we got to also remember, don't forget the good guy. Because, see, this is the thing about the good guy, Dak. Dak, if he doesn't have a contract by the beginning of the season, we got to all know what the Joneses are doing to him. They are exposing him and basically throwing him to the media wolves. If you don't pay Dak Prescott before September 9th, you are communicating something very nefarious, is what my boy landlord would say. You basically saying, without saying, that you don't trust him and that you're unsure if he's worthy of his money. You are sending a clear message to the world that the media is going to be more than happy to just pounce on and roll with. And just think about that. Just think about that. All these teams with clearly inferior quarterbacks went out their way to make sure that they showed faith in their quarterbacks by getting their deals done, mostly even before training camp. What quarterbacks had to wait through training camp? Can y'all answer that for me? What quarterbacks that was just paid had to wait through training camp? So if we forget about Dak, what we're doing is we're exposing him to massive amounts of propaganda that's going to be put on him. It's going to be massive amounts of propaganda. Massive amounts. And see, people are very weird. People are very weird. So one of the worst things that's going on right now, and I mean it's one of the worst things that's going on right now, is the doctrine that a quarterback has to be able to put a whole team on his back in order to show his worth. So if the defense allows 40 points, so what? Your quarterback is elite. If your game plan is trash, whatever, you got the quarterback. That narrative is causing fans around the world to become dumber and dumber by the day. because a lot of people actually believe it. That's the sad part, is a lot of people actually believe that stupid narrative. So I said that to say, in the case of Dak, what's going to happen if you expose Dak to this stuff? Hold on real quick. Yeah. And yeah, B. Bird, he said other GM jobs are tied to the quarterback. Yeah. But see, like, and B. Bird, I talked about this yesterday. I wholeheartedly do not believe that even getting a GM would help Dallas front office. I don't believe it even for 1 second. I don't believe getting a GM is going to help or would help Dallas front office, because Jerry is still going to meddle. As long as Jerry is meddling, it don't matter about getting a GM or even a GM being tied to the quarterback. It's about an owner that empowers the people and don't usurp them and undermine them. Like, Jerry has been an underminer for forever. So it's like, you definitely right on that. Other GMs' jobs are tied to the quarterback. You told no lies on that. I just don't see that as the solution here at all. I don't see that as the solution. I see the solution is for us to put pressure for Jerry to get his hands off. Don't do stuff like hire Mike McCarthy, who's been spanking you up and down for years, and then say, but we so smart, we're going to put Kellen Moore with you. Like, don't do stuff like that, right? Like, don't undermine your head coach like that. Don't do goofy stuff like get on the phone with San Fran, stay on the phone with San Fran, give up a 4th-round pick for Trey Lance, and don't talk to your head coach, don't talk to your personnel guy, don't talk to your scouts. So to me, it don't even matter what the title is, just to be honest. The title, it doesn't matter. It's about the culture of overly hands-on ownership. So, but you're right, B. Bird, and I appreciate the super chat. If we had the type of owner that let football people be football people and let him worry about the business, this would likely be a much better organization. But Jerry, everybody remember he went through that cursing spree the other day. Like, he went off where he was basically just F this and hell no this in terms of somebody else being able to be a GM for Dallas. And y'all want me to be all the way honest, or y'all want me to lie to you? Do you want me to be honest or lie to you? What's up, Nisa? If you want me to be honest, Jerry, right? In terms of how the Cowboys run this business, ain't nobody can do this like Jerry. No normal GM could do this like Jerry. Because, and I'm talking about all of it. Now, could you find a GM that would run football operations better than Jerry? Absolutely. But can you find a GM that can have a team win 12 games 3 years in a row, top in marketing, top in presence of mind, and all the business aspects of this? No. Jerry has a special talent in terms of what he's currently doing with the Cowboys in terms of wealth, but all of us see that his style and trying to have it all is bad for football. That's the bottom line. But getting back to Dak, I want to obviously acknowledge B. Bird super chat, man. I appreciate the super chat, good brother. But going back to Dak, man, because I want to talk about the bigger picture that a lot of people not focusing on. A lot of people not focusing on the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure, not even on Dak play, because obviously Dak is good under pressure. We all know that. He plays good under pressure, in my opinion. That's not the issue. To me, the issue is this. This is the big issue. The issue is Jerry and them are ready to maximize the publicity that's going to happen from the controversy of even with Trey Lance. So if they're going to make so much money if they allow Dak to play for a contract, even if it's just early in the season. Like, because I'm pretty sure they have some type of deadline. I'm almost certain they have some type of deadline. But you can't tell me they don't want the massive amount of talks that's going to happen if they start the season. He's literally going to be the only franchise quarterback looking as if his ownership is unsure about him. And it's completely illogical because you are acting unsure over a guy that was the runner-up MVP with better numbers than the winner. He had way better numbers than Lamar. Way better. He led all quarterbacks in touchdowns, even Mahomes. My boy DeShannon. He said, keep it up, boss, because they listen. Hey, and DeShannon, I got your text. You say, am I mad at you? Absolutely not. I don't know where you got that from. Maybe I missed the super chat or something yesterday. But nah, man, DeShannon, you actually one of my favorites. So, I just want to acknowledge you because, you reached out to me via text. And nah, I'm not mad at you at all. I'm not mad at any of the fans that kind of took off, because I know you said that you took a break and had some stuff going on. To be honest, a lot of fans walked away from Dallas for a little while. I see a lot of y'all back now because all our numbers are back. My numbers is way up again, which shows that the Cowboy fans are back. Like, y'all are back, and y'all back even before the season starts. So we already know it's going to be very nice. So I have no offense with anybody and any fan that walked away for a little bit. I mean, because y'all was pissed, man. Like, I'll be all the way honest, man. It was a lonely offseason, man, without y'all. It really was. It really was, man. I really do understand a lot of fans walking away from this, man, because people feel played with. People feel played with, man. People angry. And I get it. I all the way get it. But, just getting back to what I was saying, Dak Prescott, we can't forget about him. And I have a bad feeling that a lot of Cowboy fans are not going to put their voice and power on making sure he's paid. Because let's use our common sense. Do we really want, let's use our common sense. Do we really want our quarterback playing with contract pressure during the season? Do you want that lingering over his head and trying to lead this team? And then my boy Dak Delusional. Honestly, big dog, this should go without saying with me. To be all the way honest, everybody should know that that's what I do. My boy say, boss, props for judging Trey fairly once you've seen him. Everybody should know that's what I do, bro. Like, that should not even be a surprise. Because, I know it's a lot of people that have in rooting interest for Dak and against Dak. And some people, they going against Dak or going for Trey because they actually against Dak. And so what they do is they are very critical of Dak and very lenient of Trey. But, my goal, Dak Delusional, was always to be fair and also balanced and measured. And I've always said this because Dak himself said this. Dak said this, a better Trey is a better Dak. So how can somebody hear their quarterback and look at his track record where he clearly plays better with competition? How can somebody root against Trey and have the Dallas Cowboys' best interest in mind? That would be absolutely crazy. So, and I do believe Dak Delusional that even his last preseason game was judged way too harshly. It really was, in my opinion, because the whole design of preseason is to evaluate. It was an evaluation game where sometimes you ask your quarterback to do things that you wouldn't have him do in a normal game situation where the win is at stake. But when you in preseason, and we talking about Trey Lance, if you in preseason, sometimes you're going to be aggressive, which I believe they was in preseason game 3, is because this was their chance to try to display Trey, increase his trade value, as well as potentially get leverage against Dak and feature Trey. So I don't believe in a normal game that Mike McCarthy would throw it around 40 to 50 times. I don't believe that at all. I think that would be absolutely crazy. So I'm not of the panic that a lot of people on. Trey is done. He's not ready. He threw 5 interceptions. He's done. I mean, don't leave out the fact that that man threw 323 yards minus a dot that he threw 50 yards downfield that a receiver dropped. So minus some of those interceptions was just damn good plays by the defense. It wasn't more so that he was just goofy. Maybe 2 of his interceptions was purely goofy, but 3 of them things was just playmaking by the defense. And people just looking at the bottom line number, 5 interceptions, and they not measuring that Kool-Aid. So, when I look at Trey, speaking of Dak Delusional, and I'm going to get back to Dak. When I look at Trey, and I look at him from all 3 of his preseason games, I saw major improvements. And it made me know that likely if you stayed with him, he would continue to get better and better as you gave him reps. I think the thing is, and I'm just being all the way honest, we so used to those instant oatmeal quarterbacks like Dak to where you throw them in the microwave and they come out franchise, and you throw Romo in the microwave and he come out franchise. We not used to developing type quarterbacks. There are certain quarterbacks that's instant successes like Dak, like a CJ, like like some quarterbacks like hit the ground and they go. But some quarterbacks take time. Like a lot of people don't really measure this right. But people forgot Josh Allen was hot garbage ass trash for 2 years. His first 2 years, he was garbage. His completion percentage was hot trash. But for 2 years, they worked with him. For 2 years, he even had an offseason where he spent our offseason with Romo, and he actually came back with touch. Hold on real quick. My boy Michael Lockhart, he said 93 likes, 200 in the chat. Yeah, man, let's get them likes up. Let's get the likes up, man. I'm giving y'all some good content before we go into this practice, and we're going to likely give y'all some content when we get out for practice. So, and y'all appreciate the likes, y'all getting them likes up. But the main thing that I'm also trying to focus on is the fact that, and I'm just being all the way honest, we are sitting in a situation to where people are forgetting about the main guy, and I see it. People are forgetting about the main guy. If people are not as outraged, Law pulled up. Law just eating right now. Like, Law, he was ready. Law, he ready to do content at any time. But I told him, I said, man, go ahead and go eat. I'm going to go ahead and do my first live, before we get in that practice. So now Law is here, man. Y'all know Law here, man. Shoot, me and Jazz here as well. Stars on the way. So we going to likely have a panel show likely later. So, y'all can see some of the, better content creators that talk Dallas Cowboys content. They're going to be likely circled around, and we're going to likely have a live like this again. But it's going to likely be Law and Jazz and, Star. We'll see. Maybe the OC, he said he probably coming out as well. But my main thing is this, man. Cowboy Nation, don't let the good guys finish last again. Because it's actually already too late. Dak is already last again, so it's too late. He's already last. But let's not forget about him. That's the key. Don't forget about him. We got one last thing we got to fight about. Everybody knew that I was one of the main people that was fighting for those shoes of the defensive tackle. Then I was one of the main people fighting for CeeDee Lamb and for him to get his bag. Everybody know that. Everybody know that I'm quick to fight for what I think is going to help this team win. But we got one more fight, y'all. We got one more fight. We got to fight for Dak. We got to continue to put the pressure on front office to get this done. Because if we don't, they could just as well fall for the temptation to take this drama into the season. And I really mean that. They could take this drama right into the season. So we got to keep our eyes open for that, man. We can't let that happen. Hold on real quick. My boy Chris 214 with the super chat. My boy said, he said, we got to be strong for the God delivering the passes just as much as the one who catches them. It go hand in hand. Absolutely. And Chris 214, people don't forgot, man. People don't forgot, like, and you know, people like, oh, we got Trey done, and then Dak, he could go ahead and play out the season. The hell you mean? Like, how can you be a fan that's trying to put the Dallas Cowboys first, and then you cool with this pressure of a contract hanging over your quarterback's head? No. Everybody should be outraged that Jerry. You should be more mad that Dak could be getting ready to go in the season with a contract dispute over CeeDee Lamb. Yeah. Who was the one that had them boys cooking in training camp minus CeeDee Lamb? It was Dak. He had all them so receivers cooking that top defense. Yeah, so, we can't settle for this. This is something that we should be outraged about. This is something that we should be letting front office know. You should be sharing this type of content. You should be letting people know. I'm not cool with Dak, even a little bit, playing even one day for money. I'm not cool with front office thinking it's okay to look indecisive on the MVP runner-up. If you ain't figured out that you're supposed to pay the MVP runner-up, you the dumbass. It's not that. Hold on real quick. And then we got another super chat. He said, boss, I think it would be last team in 2 years. I mean, DeShannon, it's sad that we even got to think like that. It's sad that we even got to think like in 2 years, and it could be his team. But I will say this, there is nobody that has any common sense that should say that they can see that Trey Lance is better than Dak right now. If anybody got any common sense, you would never fix your lip to say something so stupid. It's so clear. It's so clear. I mean, golly, man, it's absolutely clear. Like, I mean, even the worst staunch Dak hater, after looking at this whole process under the light and watching Trey Lance in preseason, even the biggest Dak hater is not dumb enough to think that Trey Lance is on Dak level right now. Now, before training camp and before the lights, we heard plenty of dumb talk. We heard plenty of stupid talk. We heard plenty of, Trey Lance, he's better, he's younger, bigger arm, stronger, all of this. But, now we can see it's more than being young and fast and big arm. What about that brain? What about processing? What about knowing when to give up on the plate? What about fully knowing your offense, knowing your outlets? See, all that, he young, strong, and fast. See, that was easy to just believe in the boogeyman and believe in Santa Claus. It was super easy to believe in Santa Claus. But then December 25th came up and Santa Claus didn't show up, did he? He didn't show up. So, man, I'm going to conclude this stream, man. But, man, I really mean what I say, man. Let's not forget about Dak, man. And I do sense that that's what's going on right now. So what y'all gonna see is I will be back. I will be back to recap what I saw. I'm praying that it's an actual practice and not a walkthrough-ish practice, because with it being this late, it could be a walkthrough type of practice. If that's the case, then you gonna get what you normally get. You gonna get some good content between me, Law, and everybody else, man. And y'all already know y'all gonna get that. So, obviously your boy Boss is on the move, and I appreciate y'all rocking with your boy as I just kind of hang out, get ready for practice one. But y'all stay up, man. It's your boy Boss Cowboy, man. Don't forget, good guys finish last again.